Good evening, everyone. Do you hear and see me? We're going to have the translation into English for those who speak English. And if you can see and hear me, let us start. I will show you my screen. Please tell me that you see myself and my presentation. That you see me and you see the presentation. And as well, I will open the chat so that to see what you're writing. So it looks quite suitable for everyone. All right, so today we've met here for the following to talk about the health and to talk about the health in connection with our internal states. So some technical complication. All right, it looks like I fixed it. So we are talking about the psychosomatics. So whether it exists as it is, and what is psychosomatics, whether there is some influence of our internal state on the health. My name is Natalia Ramashchenko. I will tell about myself a bit later. I'm a gynecologist and I'm a GSR specialist, and we will talk about both. If you see and hear me, and it looks like presentation is fine, so let us start and look through briefly what we're going to talk about. So today we'll talk about health and how the chronic diseases arise. We will discuss what psychosomatics is, different views on this topic, because this topic is quite complicated and there are a lot of different opinions, especially in the scientific world and in the world of doctors. There are different views on the same matter. So I will show you different sides, different opinions, because I'm sure that in order to understand whatever we need to understand fully, we need to look at it from different sides. And I will share my own view as a doctor who is a practicing doctor of how psychosomatics influence our health. I will share as well how a person can manage their own health. And I will as well tell you more about GSR methodology. It's how you can influence yourself on your inner state and thus on your physical state as well. If you have some questions and concerning some organizational moments, so we probably do have some delay, about 30 seconds between what you're writing in the chat. So I see it only in 30 seconds. Our webinar will take about hour and a half. So if there are some more questions, probably there will be hour and a half. In the chat, we do have the moderators and they help in case there are some technical problems. There will be the recording of this webinar. However, I do call you to just engage into our conversation. And I prepared I prepared a bonus for you so that you could make the diagnostics for yourself. So please share in the chat if you were interested by the topic of your health, or the correlation between the health and your inner state. So please share in the chat what is your major problem. What is something which bothers you? You probably already have some problem which bothers you, or you are worried about not having one. So please share what is important for you. And as well, I summon you to take as much as possible from this webinar. Yeah, I see your comments in the chat that there is a pain in the back. There is asthma, so some complications in the breath, the overwhelming weight, different problems with the internal organs, different problems with the skin. So many different problems of the health, and a lot of them which are different, not the same ones. So you can see there is insomnia and depression and all the cancer of the breast. So you see there are a lot of different diseases. Some of them are quite difficult, quite chronic ones. A lot of chronic diseases I see. And the chronic diseases appear not straight away. So we will see what are the reasons for that, and how actually this somehow appears in the person's physical body. And we'll see as well what is possible to do at each of the stage when you already know some disease that you do have. Some of the problems I see you're writing in the chat are more serious, and some of them are less. You are writing mastopathy, which is not actually some chronic disease usually. So that's good that you're writing. And I can tell you that it's not something which is the family disease. However, we will discuss it as well. So I summon you to actively participate in the chat, to participate in the webinar. Please share your stories and dedicate this hour of our webinar for yourself. Take notes as well, because when you take notes, you will get it, you will put it into your mechanical memory, and there will be some insights that you will have later on. The bonus that I prepared for you, for those who will actually stay with us till the end, this is check up file for self-help. There is a list of analysis and how to interpret them, actually, how detect the vitamin deficits, and how to detect problems, and to see whether you need a doctor already. If you will be able to see what is the difference between the normal figures and between something which is exaggerating this norm. This is the approach which actually all people will need. For all will be very useful. This file will be very useful for any of you in any of the situation. Let me tell a bit about myself. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist. I am a reproductive physician in the past. I used to work with pairs who had problems with conceiving kids. For more than 300 pairs, I actually led for 12 years of my work. For the last 15 years, I've been working in preventive and regenerative medicine. I work in the clinic, and as well I lead the blog, and I have my own clinics. I have online courses, and more than 1,000 women have improved their health with me. So we talk a lot about the preventive medicine. I as well work with nutraceutical support for mental health, because without dedicating yourself to what you actually eat or what you take, you won't be able to treat any of the health, because a lot depends on how our internal organs work. As well, I am a specialist and an expert of the GSR system. This is the methodology that allows us to work with our emotions and feelings and to bring in order all our internal processes, so that outside in the reality it would be more interesting and easier to achieve our goals. I will as well share today a lot of examples of how this methodics can help in working with your health, in planning your pregnancy, etc. So let us talk about the topic of our webinar today. So what is the health? If we look at the definition of the World Health Organization, we'll see that this is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or physical defects. So it means that it's not actually about the chronic disease, whether you do have some acute disease or some pain, but a person can actually name himself healthy when from the emotional point of view, he is not bothered by something as well, or from the social point of view, he is not really emotional when he's communicating or when he has relations with other people. In this case, he can say that he is completely healthy. So we see that a health actually is a state of the harmony and balance. So at the same time, we can see that there is something which somehow bothers us or prevents us from feeling this balance. So we can split the diseases into two groups. First is the acute. In the moment something happens and the person got sick, after that he recovered and recovered fully or partially, and there are still some some consequences of the disease. So let's say those who suffered probably from coronavirus, you could see that after the acute symptoms already gone, you still probably have some sequence, something that you still feel. So we can say some side effects probably, or you did not recover completely, or probably there are still some weak points in your body, in your physical health. And another group, this is chronic diseases. This is when the person repeatedly has this disease. Probably he has not fully recovered, or he straight away again got sick, because people share usually that it looks like I am already, or the person is already feels already good enough, but after that straight away he feels that he's again sick. Yeah, you're sharing that after COVID there were the insomnia or some depression or some neurosystem that work differently. So when we talk about the chronic disease, as you told about the myoma, about the high blood pressure, this is usually connected to some structural damage of the system, some regulation of the whole organism. And it's not the organ itself which suffers, but the regulation of the whole body, which leads to some diagnosis as well, and it means that there is a problem with the health. What do you think? How the disease actually arises, how it appears, especially not the chronic, because the chronic disease does not appear straight away. It usually starts from some point. Probably this is some damage or some dysfunction of the state, as the World Organization tells us that there is a state, the balanced state. So first, what I see in the chat is a stress. So all the diseases from stress, etc. I agree with you. I totally agree. So organism tries to adapt to some reaction with the outer world, nutrition as well. When Natalia shares that her son does not want to go to school and then he feels sick, some problems with the nutrition, some emotions, right? So whatever you are writing in the chat, these are quite the reasons which more connected with our internal states, right? So this is how you see that our internal states influence somehow our health. However, as well, there are some diseases which are connected with bacteria and with viruses, with some outer problems, right? With the real problems. But whenever you're writing about blocks, about emotional stress, etc., this is definitely so. Even when the virus infection is spreading, there are people who suffer more and those who actually recover quicker. So that's why I would like to show you this movement as how the person moves actually from the ideal health to the disease. So if we take an ideal situation, so let's say, I don't know whether there are such people. So let us take about the ideal. Let's consider the ideal person. So they ideally working cells, and they are simultaneously communicating with each other. I mean, the cells and the body cells, the good connections between them, and thus. So what happens next at the level of the cells? We don't see that. We don't have, there are no symptoms, no problems. However, some small changes, first changes, start to be in this ideal work between the cells. So if at that stage we don't do anything, we don't change anything, then this first symptoms, or this no symptoms, first changes, there are new small minor symptoms, I would like, start to appear. There can be there can be some signals like the feeling that you didn't sleep well, you probably some unstable feeling, like you feel like exhausted, not resourceful. These are minor symptoms when you still feel that you're healthy and there are no reasons to go to doctor or to do some diagnostics. And this is the state which usually person lives in, and many people usually live like that. And I agree that ideal health, I haven't seen anywhere. So the major part of people actually live in the state where there are some minor symptoms. However, there is a system of compensation in the body, so a person usually doesn't do anything. These minor symptoms like tiredness, lack of resource, the change of the mood, however, no diagnosis, and you can still see that you are like that. If you come to the doctor with your minor symptoms, or you can actually check your analysis, you can see that there are some changes. However, according to the standards, standards of the medicine, there is nothing to treat, nothing to heal. because it is still within the norm. So this is where this split happens. So if you don't do anything with this state, there may be some acute disease that can appear, and when a person has some more stress, the acute virus captures the body, and after that probably there will be no change. So the person just had this disease, some virus, and then he or she recovers, and that's it. Let's say, as you shared in the chat, that even after the coronavirus there are no changes. However, in case you actually heal the acute disease and the symptoms, the minor symptoms that everything started with, there will be the possibility to actually improve the situation if you straight away from the very beginning start to correct and to change your way of life. However, if you don't do anything, then of course it may end up, or it may bring to the development of this chronic disease. If you don't deal with the situation of the acute disease up to the end, these are all the factors which are connected with your life balance. Lack of sleep, lack of vitamins and nutritional elements, maybe some ecological problems in the city where you live, or there may be some genetic reasons as well, which can come to the scene and play when there is a lack of this support. If you would like, I can give you some example briefly. Let's say some diagnosis of how it can develop. So write in the chat, we can actually consider something. But what is important here, I agree with you totally that from the point of what to do with that, the medicine, the standard medicine, the general medicine, the system that we have, it interferes only at the stage when there is a disease. So the sphere of responsibility of the medicine is to work with the acute and chronic diseases. Whatever is beyond that red line, this is responsibility of the person himself, because this is fully about the lifestyle, about the life balance. So all the prophylactic, so preventive medicine ways, and the preventive medicine we do have, and it as well refers to support of a person, so that when the person only has the minor symptoms, to help him or her to improve the situation in his life. So if we talk about, let's say, gallstone disease, let's say, these are the stones which are being formed in our gall. I like this example, because when the gallbladder is fine, it usually collects, it usually spreads, gives the necessary, it functions well enough, and there are no problems inside. So no the bile itself of a good quality, and it means that the gallbladder works fine. However, at the stage when the bile becomes more viscous, it can happen due to when you eat, let's say, a lot of not harmful food or something, or when there are the periods of time between your between when you eat, the bile becomes more viscous, and it means that it stays in the gallbladder for longer period of time than it should be. So it is collected there because the bile usually goes out of the gallbladder only when you eat. So first minor symptoms, there will be that it happens here. So the bile is viscous. It's not ideal. It's not physically well as it was actually created by the nature, so that all the systems would work perfectly. However, there is still no problem. So minor symptoms here will be that in case the bile stays in the gallbladder, and there will be kind of flakes inside the gallbladder, which will not be able when the gallbladder contracts, it will not be possible for these flakes to go out, and it will be the minor symptom here. However, what happens next? Next, there will be this sediment that we can see doing the ultrasound diagnostics. And there can be first stones, some small stones that we can see, and it is the moment when there is the acute stage of the disease, when the stones are small, then we can still dissolve them. However, if we don't do anything at this level, then it will not be possible to somehow dissolve them, and we will end up having the chronic disease, and then we will be able only to remove them surgically. So to remove them surgically, classically, to take out the gallbladder, and the person will keep living without gallbladder. However, whatever problems he had before, he will not, they will still be with the person after the gallbladder is removed. This is the example of how the organism actually goes from the minor symptoms, or the ideal health, to the minor symptoms, and then to the chronic disease. However, we live somehow, and it influences. So talking about the lifestyle. So Tanya is asking that I had a lot of problems in my early childhood, and when I was 7 and went to school, I had a lot of problems with my health already. Well, a lot of things here may be as well. The nutrition that you had at the early days, at the early years. And it's not the way of where you lived and what you did. However, I'm not about who is guilty. I'm just about what we can do with that. Well, let's talk about psychosomatic. So what is psychosomatic within this? So psychosomatic illnesses are the health changes that result from the interaction of the mental and psychological factors. So physiological and mental factors, I would say. So what is meant here? I mean, this is when the state of the psycho or the mental state somehow influences the physiological state of the body. So some pains or spasm or pulse rate increases or reflexes changes, or there is some process in your body when you have pain, and it influences your emotions, your mood, your energy level. You probably don't feel, you feel exhausted or feel kind of fatigue, and this is how the diseases are being grouped here. As well, the approach to psychosomatics actually started to appear a long time ago in century 19. However, there is still no consensus in the scientific community. There is still a lot of different classifications and different concepts, because it is still not possible to understand the mechanisms of how it came about, and that is why it's so difficult for scientists to actually study and systemize that. And as a human is very individual from genetical point of view, from the factors that he has in his life, from the how he lives and where he works, what are the harmful factors probably he has at work, what is his communication or relations at work and in the family. So this mechanism is very difficult to find, because it's quite difficult to study and to systematize of how the disease actually appears and develops. However, there is an understanding that there are some psychosomatic diseases or illnesses, and we can say that there is an influence between our emotions, between our internal world, internal life, and it somehow influences the health. So the first try to analyze how it happens was in 30s, last century, in 20th century, in 30s years, and scientists said that Chicago 7 psychosomatic diseases included the following diseases. This is hypertension, the peptic ulcer, or gastric and 12-bowel ulcer. So what they meant here, that all those diseases, actually the reasons for those diseases were the emotional states, and there were different theories and different try to describe it somehow. However, in the 60s and 70s of the previous years, there was the world classification that took place. The last edition, the 10th edition of different diseases, the psychosomatic diseases were not included there. That's why the story that it is connected with the psychological influence, it somehow were removed from the main page. So another approach and another way to psychosomatics. So I would like to as well underline that I don't really like this theory. However, it's called New German medicine. This is the concept, which is based that our strong emotions or emotions upheavals affect physiological processes in a human body, which actually becomes the reason. So what I don't like here, that for each of the disease, there is a description of what emotion actually is the reason. So this is the trial of somehow to make a classification of the disease. However, on practice or by fact, it's not unfortunately, but in fact, we see that some percentage actually can explain how the disease started. However, in the majority of the cases, the reason was probably different. So let's say the intense fear or violation of your physiological boundaries can cause acute bladder inflammation. It looks like the pain in the kidney has one reason, or some bladder pain is for another reason, etc. So there are different reasons. However, the question still stays here. So how to work with those reasons? What is closer to my understanding, the approach, the physiological approach? So when we consider the psychosomatics as a result of the effects of the stress. So what we have about the psychosomatics, there are a lot of authors, there are a lot of people who write books on that matter, on that topic. There are a lot of them. However, there is a concept that first, these 7 diseases that I mentioned before, then this new German medicine that tried to expand a little bit this concept. And the third approach is more about physiological process, is based that psychosomatic is the result of the stress, the result of the influence of stress. Here, it is important to understand that stress is an important physiological response of our body. We do need it. It helped us to survive, and it helps our body to survive because evolutionary, this is reaction which is aimed at human survival and adapting to changing external conditions, which was formed when a person, a human, had to deal with some wild animals, let's say, or other people, aggressive people. And the stress reaction is primarily aimed at changing the state of the body. So mobilization of all the resources, rapid decision making on the principle of hit or run. So it somehow influences the injection of some the hormone injection, so that we would be able to defend ourselves. So physiologically, it is aimed at adaptation to the changing conditions. The problem of the modern person is that it deals with psychological stress. We don't deal usually with the situation when we need at the level of the body to somehow realize our stress, to, let's say, deal with some wild animals or to run out from some enemies. So we usually react emotionally. However, the same physiological processes are going on inside of our body. Our blood pressure increases, our immune system goes down. So when you're nervous, after that you can actually catch some virus, and no one around you probably got sick, but you didn't. That's because you were emotionally stressed. Gastrointestinal tract as well, some media as well, it influences the internal media. So whatever you eat is not being digested well enough, so you don't get enough mineral elements. So when you are under stress, all your parts of the body does not get enough structural material, not enough building material. When we're under stress, we lose our appetite, and it influences our endocrine regulation as well through the gastrointestinal tract. And the stress itself as well influences our endocrine regulations. And stress let's say, can influence the work of the menstrual cycle, the work of the ovaries, because when a woman is under stress, the ovaries may work dysfunctionally, and it may be the reason for not getting pregnant or something. So can you share how you deal with that? So how you deal with the stress? Because let's say when I'm under stress, I don't have any appetite and I don't want to eat and I don't feel that there is a problem. I just don't feel that I should think about problem. And the main the signal for me that the stress is gone, that I start to want to eat. So Dmitry shares that he can stay without food for about 3 days. This is exactly after the stress is gone. We can start eating. However, it's nothing good for the whole body. As you say, insomnia, you don't have sleep, you don't have appetite when you're under stress. And another person is writing that you eat too much. All right, it is okay. It's good that you can see that. The reasons for the stress is actually inside of us. This is how we react to the how we react to different events. And it is very interesting that the reaction may be different for different people. So whatever is a stress for one may not be the stress for another. And when we talk about psychosomatic, probably it is one of the reasons why it is so difficult to find the unified mechanisms of how the development of some disease happens. That's because the same external events that are going on, and we can see that this is definitely stress, that will be the different intensity of the reaction for different people. And we have different genetics, and we have different structure of the bodies, different processes of the bodies. So for one person, there will be the stress which will influence the physiological functions. The same kind of stress or the same level of hormones which is injected into the body may not give the same kind of result. So this is quite an individual roadmap. However, what we can say that this is the very much internal process. So how we react to different events, it depends on what we have inside. What do you think? So how we react? What influences us? Can you share whether these are internal processes that we deal with, or some why we have so different reaction? Why some people have one reaction and other people have another reaction? You're writing in the chat that this is a different relation to different situations. So let's say for one person it is a problem, for another it may not be a problem, right? So the family scenarios influence the situation more than the real reality. The previous experience may define as well. Yes, probably. Whether you had the positive experience of how to deal with the same problem. If you did, then your level of stress will be smaller. However, if you have not ever had the same situation, then probably it will be more stressful for you because you don't have any recipe of how to deal with it. The world map, I would say. So let me draw the conclusion. So experience, internal perception of the situation, our feelings of whether we like or don't like this. So altogether, I named it as we have a different reaction. So let's say what is said, what is made or composed out of different emotional internal processes, our reactions, our mindset, our perception of the situation, of how we're going to think about that. So what tendency we have out of that. So we'll get the result. So let us see how our reaction and actions are being driven. So they're driven by our mindset, and our mindset is our map of the world, and our map of the world are being supported by our internal models, I would say, and these are being driven not only by whatever was before in our biographical experience, it is as well being formed by the previous generations that we had. All these people, our parents, our grandparents, etc., they somehow raised their brought up their children, considered something right and something useless. These, let's say, scenarios allow us to do something easily, something that we can do without any problems. We know how to deal and to solve some problems. It is not stressful for us because we know how to do that. We were taught how to do that since our childhood, maybe even unconsciously, and we don't have any stress here because it's easy for us. No problems. We can overcome and do something. However, at the same time, there are some things which is actually quite hard for us, or it doesn't come easy to us at all. And these are areas where we can experience stress or psychological stress, let's say, on a regular basis, because we do want something and we cannot get it. Because in our system, in our family system, there is no experience of how to do that. Let's say we don't know how to earn much money. For some people, there is a model of the entrepreneurs, let's say, and they know how to deal with money. However, for others, it's not possible. And it's not really possible even to get sick, because how will you live? You will not be able to earn. You will not be able to get yourself some medication to get on to heal yourself. Let's say someone can cook well enough and feed his or her family with proper nutritional food, because this is how it used to be in his family, and he's even not aware how he's doing that. And for another person, it will be very difficult because he doesn't know how to cook, he doesn't know how to eat properly. Can you share in the chat how it happens in your life, talking about health? What strong or weak points you have regarding your health habits? Iran is writing that I like cooking. Yeah, that's good. Some family experience defines a lot. That's why a lot of things here influence our health. Let's say we do have some, let's say, doctors, several generations of doctors. For example, my grandma was doctor as well, and the mother of my grandma was as well in the medicine area. And this is interesting for me as well. I didn't have any doubt when I was choosing what I want to be in the future. And other people are looking for their for their ways of where to go in life. There are a lot of things which we cannot do. We don't know how to do that in our life. However, there are still a lot of things which you do know. Probably you don't like to cook. However, you like to read lectures, let's say, you like to write and to present the lectures. So probably you can earn money through communicating with people, reading lectures, let's say. So what to do where there is no stability? There are strong points and there are weak points, weak features of yourself. Let's say you have to work hard in order to earn something. So how you can add some stability to the weak points, weak areas where you don't have any experience. And here I would say is about GSR, which is the tool that allows us to work with all the forms of our deepest beliefs. So whatever models, whatever views that you have, and they probably do not belong to you, they somehow forms your mindset, forms your how you look at the world. And here you have to deal with these internal beliefs, and I will tell you more. In the chat, we will now have the link. The first is going to be about the access to Module 1 on Russian language, and another link is going to be for Module 1 core, Module 1 information in English. So what this methodics gives us, this is the tool which allows us to work with the basement, with what actually forms our deepest beliefs. So why someone has the belief that you have to work hard, you have to work hard and to earn not much money. And for some people, it is not a problem at all. That's because our ancestors actually lived differently, and we do have different experience, which actually as a heritage that we have from them. And you can work with yourself at the level of these deepest beliefs in case there is something which actually prevents you from moving on within this very area. This experience may be in everyone's life. So GSR session allows us to influence our mindset, our thinking process when we have some event and there is a reaction that we have at this event. So we can change the way we react, and thus to change our mindset. So I would like to show you at the example of the health in practice as well. For example, from my session with the client, some examples I would like to share with you. So Katya came to me that she had a problem with sleep. She couldn't fall asleep because she had various disturbing thoughts that prevented her from falling asleep. Like can stay in bed till 3 or 4 a.m. without any sleep. So she actually wanted to get back to a quality, healthy sleep, because at that time she didn't have enough life energy for work or to do anything I would like to do, whatever I like. And Katya really liked her work, and she really wanted to work. there was not a problem for her to work. There was a problem in this anxiety that she did have. And after the session, after we did the session, she understood that this anxiety was actually the anxiety was the result of a hyper responsible attitude to work, and she saw that she had to be the best and had no right for any mistakes. And after the session, she actually understood that she can somehow manage her own schedule and made it comfortable for herself. She started to understand herself much better and started to hear her desires, even small desires, and she had more time for herself. And after that, she this problem disappeared. She got back to proper nutrition. It's like she knew the principles of proper nutrition. However, after this session, she actually started to apply them. I would like to mention as well that the principles of proper nutrition influence very much our health. All our, let's say, the nutritional biological life depends on different functions which are going on inside of our body. Let's say the bile flow as well influences greatly. So in case the person doesn't fall asleep before 10 p.m., another kind of activity appears in the body, because the bile injects into the body. And I can interpret here that Katya felt much better after she actually regulated her time for going to bed, because the whole organism actually got back to the proper functioning. So for Katya, it took about quite a long time. Some other mechanisms didn't help her, and probably she didn't look at something. We do have some states when we have a problem and we live in this problem because the problem itself does not allow us to see the actual solution. And very often GSR session is the tool that expands our mindset, and we see wider, we start seeing wider, and we look at the problem from different sides, and we can see that there is a problem. However, there is a decision, there is a solution nearby. So this mechanisms of not seeing this solution can be worked out through or in the process of this GSR session as well. If you follow the link, which is now done in the chat, let me briefly tell the structure of the course. The whole course actually consists of 17 short lessons on a closed platform, 3 practical exercises, first GSR session for yourself. You can do as well quite quick. There are as well material, the information of how to deal with different situations, and there's plus as well that this tool you can actually use in any event of your life, and you can improve working with yourself and improve the session itself and working with yourself. So once in a month approximately, we have 3 mentoring groups for mastering and refining mastering techniques. In case you're not sure that you do everything correctly, you can free of charge come to the curatorship course, which is organized when it is organized, and along with the curator, you can go through the theory, you can ask the questions, and the curator will give you the comments. You will get the answers to all your questions. When you have your own experience of working with yourself, you can actually get further on. You can get the access to other stages, and you can work with other people. You can work with the beliefs which are being formed not only within our families, but within the collective field, and without which are formed by the society, because it influences the social beliefs or influence our mindset as well. As well, you can actually become GSR specialist, and you can get this new profession, work with other people, and work remotely as a GSR specialist. Let's say I work as a doctor and I develop as a doctor, and I as well work as GSR specialist, and I work with people as the doctor and as a GSR specialist as well. As well, there is an interesting thing within the GSR system. There is an expert support and working with yourself. There is GSR practitioner. Let's say every GSR practitioner, let's say, can have an expert, but an expert plays the role of a person who actually supports you, like shows you or supports you on your own path, on your own development path, helps you to go the directions that you really would like to go. So expert support is for the work with yourself. As well, being a GSR user, GSR practitioner can give you an access to closed trainings of the author, which are led by the author of the methodology. There are a lot of trainings in the system, which influence different spheres of the life. Regarding the possibilities, the access to introductory module is free. So first, several lections are free. Then you yourself can actually take independent study of core lessons. Then you can as well work with curators when you have a desire, when the curator course is on. Then you are included into the chat, and where you will get support and answers to all your questions in a closed chat on Telegram. It is very warm society, very professional, warm society, and you can share some insights which you actually have within your work with yourself, and you can read the results and the experience of other people. This is all within the closed chats of Module 1. What are the results that you can actually get or working with yourself? First of all, this is another relation. This is another perception of your inner world. You will be able to actually get of how you actually feel yourself. Because quite often we understand that, let's say, we should keep ourselves out of the stress, because we do know that no one it's better not to become nervous. We understand that in our brain. However, inside we usually have a lot of things which are going on, and GSR session actually, this experience of capturing the symptoms, capturing these difficult reactions, allows to form inside of your cycle the mechanisms which allows to see the results of the reasons, to actually which actually makes you feel more stable, and you, to make you're stable and to feel yourself more reliable, like you can rely on yourself and you can work with quite difficult reactions and emotions of yours, even though you have some quite stressful events going on around. You can still draw yourself out of the situation, or to look at it from the third side. We can say that it is so, we can do that. However, in reality and practice, it is quite difficult to do. So usually, quite often, we do have some states. However, we are meant to adapt to this state. However, GSR session allows us not to adapt to any stressful situation, but to work it out and move on. And working with yourself, you will see of what is going on inside of you and what result you actually get in the reality. And it will be very interesting to see, especially regarding to your habits, to your probably daily habits. If you like to cook 3 times a day for your family, and let's say your bile bladder works good, and you see that all your family is healthy. However, if you don't like to cook and there are some problems with your bile injection in your family, and you can actually here take as a symptom your undesire to cook. You can fix it, and you can look at the situation differently. One of the options after the session may be, so why not? Why I actually don't like to cook? Let me try. This is one result. Another result after the session may be, so yeah, I don't like to cook. Maybe I will organize this process differently, and it will be another result. And as a result of working with yourself within this sphere, you take the responsibility for your life to yourself. You start to actually rely on yourself, and it allows you to as well to unlock kind of your potential. Can you share as well whether the following examples somehow refer, or someone is about you, somehow is about you? So let's say you're strongly influenced by your emotions, and when you are stressed, you lose your appetite, or on the contrary, you eat it up, or you worry a lot, and this affects your sleep, energy level, and well-being. So if you see the same things in yourself, in your life, you can probably be interested in seeing the examples of my work with the clients as well. So let's say another lady who came to me, she came to me as to the doctor. She needed the support in nutrition. This topic of nutrition caused a lot of tension for her, and it seemed so unbearable. So she didn't know how to solve this problem at all. How what it meant to her. She had a lot of sweet snacks, sweet drinks. She didn't actually had any fully formed meals. There were a lot of different things, or some coffee, or some fuzzy drinks, some snacks. So when we analyzed the diary, the nutritional diary, I gave her my comments and said how to actually eat properly, that the physiologically to eat correctly, and she heard me. However, she was quite honest and said that, Natalia, it is not possible for her. And she had a lot of reasons why it is not possible. It's because in the morning I woke up so early, I don't have any time to cook, so I will eat in the cafe on the way. And what to eat in the cafe? Because there is nothing there, just coffee and tea, maybe some sweets. And that is why she couldn't understand how she can actually follow all those recommendations, and especially to cook vegetables for herself 3 times a day was not possible, because she said, like, I am not at home for the whole day, and when I come back in the evening, I cannot actually wait till something is cooked. So how to deal with that, she didn't know. And we did one session, and within this session, which is very interesting to actually notice what is there in the session, especially when people come to work with some nutritional habits, especially with the sweets. When you do the session, you see quite quickly that it's not actually about nutrition. This is about some deeper reason. And as a result of the session, and in the result after the session, you can see it quite obviously. In the whatever concerns the nutritional habits is more about the bonus. However, the major processes that we deal with, the main beliefs that we deal with, is about the different topics. Let's say the categorical attitude, this attitude of Katya's has gone. That's because she saw the reason why exactly she came to me and what she really wants. So she realized that she should somehow start to build a system according to which she will eat. She kept dedicating herself to her health. She lost some weight, minus 12 kilograms in 3 months. She started taking dance classes. This was something that she actually had been dreaming for a long time. So she worked as the photographer, and she was so busy doing her photography business. And after the session, she realized that she actually had been dreaming of organizing the classes, photography classes for other people, which is about earning another money, which is about different possibility of change your day structure. So she actually saw that she could change the whole life. Another example that I would like to share with you, so for whom it is as well important, like, can you share about nutrition, that you're craving so much for sweets that you cannot control yourself? Here, I would say the person was dedicating herself to the proper nutritional habits, and she had this proper meals several times a day. However, she had sweets at home, and in case she had sweets at home, she couldn't control herself. So her task was to take control over herself in order not to eat so much sugar. So it was the beginning, the starting point to control craving for sweets. Yeah, you're sharing in the chat that you're a sweet eater as well. I'm craving for salt things as well. Yeah, all right. It doesn't matter. So we usually meet this craving for sweets, and sometimes people don't take the main food, but prepare themselves for the desserts, let's say. There should be a balance in each meal. Those people who have diabetes, they know that there is some craving for something or some dependency, I would say, on some product. So Anya's result, that first 3 days after the session, she didn't want to eat any sweets at all, because the session itself was not about sweets, I would say. It was about I cannot do whatever I want. I don't know why, but I'm not allowed to do something that I want. Everyone is allowed, but I'm not. And this is the state was below, like deeper, which influenced this craving for the sweets, because like to give myself something that I do want, at least through eating sweets. So what she noticed, that she didn't want to eat sweets at all. However, she felt the desire to buy fruits and vegetables at home, to have at home. And what she understood as well, that her craving for sweets in general depends on what state she's in, whether she's resourceful or not from the psychological point of view. So in case we live in a condition that till the end of the day I'm in balance, I do not spend more energy than I need till living this day in resource, then I will not actually want having the sweet, or I will need just one sweet, one candy, let's say, not the bag of the candies. And this was the effect. It is still there. She's still living like that. So she says that when she feels stressed, there may be some desire to eat more. However, 4 candies are already quite big amount. It was her feedback within a week. However, she said that socially, she changed some life changed, social life changed as well. She got the offer for the job offer, and for me, it is when a woman has the resource which comes out from her, and she can actually target this resource to anywhere. It's not actually about her family or kids. It's about all her life, and it will be somehow unlocked. This potential will be unlocked. And you will be able to improve your life in case you are able to work through GSR session. It is described in Module 1 course. In the chat, can you share in the chat probably whether you already had some problems solved? So Module 1, for what people it will be useful as well. These are for those who have some specific problems that have not been resolved for a long time. Let's say you have some pain or allergies or whatever you have been writing in the chat, some chronic illness, for instance, and probably you already have some balance. And however, the health problem, does not look so that it is possible to solve. There are a lot of examples in our experience, in our GSR experience. Let's say the menstrual pain that women had disappeared, or some craving for sweets, or some allergy or something as well gone. And when talking about the children problem with the children health, it is very important to work with the parents. So let's say mom can treat herself in order to support her child, in order to remove those mechanisms, those beliefs, which not directly but indirectly influence the state of your kids as well. And it is important to underline as well that if you're a parent and if you work with yourself, you actually change the quality of the life for your kids, because kids get this modified energy, modified experience of the family system. For those who have chronic diseases, as you said, that you have different diseases, you have been writing in the chat. A lot of different diseases, chronic ones, you can deal, you can make session for your perception of your diseases, and you can take the energy as a symptom when you have some painful state, or physical, when you have physical pain, you can capture it as a symptom, and you can see how the whole state of yours will change. Tatiana is sharing that she captured this pain in the back before the menstrual days. In 2 months already, she doesn't have this pain anymore. Thank you, Tatiana, that you shared your experience. There can be some deeper work as well, talking about the chronic disease. I work not only with the relation of people to their works, but as well I work with the factors which influence the person's perception of his state. As I said, like a person understands that he needs to go to bed on the proper time, but he doesn't do that. So below that can be a very interesting symptom. If we're talking not about health, for whom module 1 is important. This is for everyone who would like to grow and develop at any field, but you feel that you have neither the strength or you don't have resource to realize your potential. This can happen with the women and with men as well. I deal more with women. However, I work with men too. And what I deal with is there is a conflict between the social realization and the family, that it is not possible to develop herself in both directions. And here many women actually feel that they have potential inside, but they don't have time, they don't have opportunities, like possibilities. The family takes a lot of time, and all this with GSR session you can actually work through and you will be able to actually go in all the directions. Or in case you would like to change your profession, and I had such cases in life. So when a person is already well educated and he is already prepared to start moving on the career ladder, and he cannot do that. He cannot work with people. He cannot earn more. And as well, such states, such situations can be worked through GSR session. What else is possible to deal with? These are the relations with your husband, wife, with children, parents, etc. One of the reasons as well of how to deal with yourself and how to deal with those who are around, which is very, very important. If you would like to develop ourselves, we can actually dedicate some time to our self-development. For whom it is not possible to become a practitioner of Module 1, for those who are seeing a psychiatrist, or you need some psychological help first you need to become stable, and then you will be able to work with yourself. The cost of the course is 14,000 rubles, so you can work anywhere, wherever you are. You can work with yourself when you are at home or at work, or when you're on holidays. It doesn't matter. The cost of the course has not been changing for many years, and those people who join a Module 1 GSR practitioners society has actually joined the path of the change for the whole life. And they can as well become specialists of GSR system, which is very, very great to lead or support people on their path of self-development. I compared the cost of the course, which is 14,000 rubles, with other courses. Let's say one session, my session, GSR session, costs 7,000 rubles. And can you share in the chat who is actually who is the new, who hears about this GSR methodology for the first time? I mean, those who has never, who is not yet within the system. In order to see more, to know more about GSR system, you can follow the link, and first to get the introductory course, which is free of charge. Straight away you can start getting familiar with the course. Iran shared with us that only yesterday she bought Module 1. Have you already had session, or probably you had session with the specialist? Who is the first, who is the new to the system, and you have not heard about the system yet? If you don't know anything about the session, you can actually find a specialist and go through first session yourself. You can write on the following ID, Telegram ID, your desire that you would like to have a session with the specialist. You will get a list of specialists where you will be able to go through the session so that you will be able to see how it works. Erin shared that she only saw the introductory lesson with Dmitry. Yeah, you have a great time ahead, that you will be having a lot of insights. The contacts, the official contacts are here. QR code, the official group of GSR System. All QR codes can be scanned. And if you have some questions, please write. I will tell you how to get your bonus. In order to get your bonus, you will need to go along the link, and there is a file. You can download it to yourself separately to your Google, to your computer, and within this file there is a short checkup and some hints how to interpret analysis and how to get the basic vitamins based on your referral norms of whatever you have in your analysis. There are given those vitamins which are free and safe for all the grown-up people. Thank you for your participation. Quite actively we have been communicating today. So please ask me some questions if you have, and if you don't have any questions, please share your feedback or maybe some information you didn't get, maybe some more examples you really needed. The comment in the chat that I think that module 1 is the most precious purchase in my life. Well, yeah, I agree with you, because this first session sometime back, 5 years ago, there was first session which I came to the same time. It was the end of November. It was my first GSR session. Anastasia, thank you so much for your feedback. I'm glad that you got a lot of new useful information for yourself. All right, so if you don't have any questions, so let me wait for a minute. If you keep writing, please do. So in case you don't have any questions, this is exactly an hour and a half, a little bit more than that. Why the menstrual days? Why there are so many menstrual days? It's a very good question. It's my question. I like this question very much. You need to understand that the first day of the menstrual day is the main one. So from that, so we should count the first day when you have the abundant menstrual blood day. Let's say you count that you have 7 days of the menstrual days. So if we have boys here, you can stop listening this. However, you do have your women, and in case you don't want to hear that, you can actually go. 7 days of abundant menstrual days from the standard it is a standard cycle from the medical point of view. However, in case you had less days before and now you have more days, and you have as well kind of smearing days as well. You should probably have some ultrasound in order to see the uterine condition. In case everything all right there, probably the there is the increased venous blood. There can be as well myoma or something else. So you'd better do the checkup, go to the doctor. I can invite you to my blogs, let's say, where I discuss that. How to, as well, another question, how to work with allergy, with the kids' allergy. Another question. How to look at the allergy, at the grown-up allergy. Atopic dermatitis. This is the first one. First, you need to work with yourself and to fix first whatever bothers you regarding this topic. Any processes of why you worry about that, what is wrong according to your opinion, what is your problem about that. If everything is fixed here as a problem, so you see that there are no triggers and it's not a problem for you, so you can actually put yourself a goal that your son would not have this atopic dermatitis or this allergy. Starting with the adequatization, what if I never get this goal, so my son will never have this clean skin? And to remove all these problems, first do the adequatization and do the practical group 1 and practical group 2. So if you are module 1 practitioner, this can help you. I as well saw the question. Thank you so much for the feedback that you liked my presentation. Here I answered all the questions. The link for module 1 is a little bit upper, so, or we can ask the moderators to send a link again. There is a link in the chat, so we keep talking. You can go up a little bit, or here it is. Thank you to our moderators. So here you can see first link is module 1 on Russian language, and the second link, module 1 in English. You can copy it for yourself, and then you can get in and see the introductory course, which is free, or you can buy module 1 straight away, or you can first watch this introductory free course and then you can buy. So it's up to you. The course is open and open to you all the time. So module 1, you can the link to the bonus is not copied. Can you just follow that? You just follow that and download this file to yourself. If you don't manage to do that, we will be able to actually send it to you in the chat bot where you got the link to this present webinar. Can you share? For those who need the links, can you copy it right now? Because as soon as we finish the webinar, there will be no access to these links anymore. So let me give you 1 more minute so that you will be able to copy or to download the file that I shared with you. And if you don't manage, please share.
Получилось отлично, Анна, я рада. Отлично. Если хотите записаться на сессию...
Great. If you would like to have the session with a specialist, here is the contact of the organizational structure of GSR system. This is ID, Telegram ID. You're writing that you were at the webinar and you were asking for the specialist to go to session. There are different specialists and you can choose someone. All the specialists are certified. They are working with themselves. They are working with others. If you, whatever topic is important to you at the moment, so you can work with that, going to the specialist. Thank you so much for being with me this webinar. I was very glad to tell you what I know. So all the best to you. Good luck.